The struggle is real. Why traditional studying often fails. Many students struggle with studying. They spend hours poring over textbooks, they highlight everything, yet they still struggle to recall information during exams. This is because traditional study methods often fail. They rely heavily on rote memorization. This does not promote deep understanding. Cramming is another common mistake. It overloads the brain with information in a short period. This leads to poor retention and increased stress. Passive reading is also ineffective. It does not engage the brain actively. Students may think they're learning, but they're often just skimming the surface. Fortunately, there are more effective ways to study. These methods are based on scientific principles of learning and memory. They can help you learn more effectively and efficiently. By understanding how your brain learns best, you can unlock your full academic potential. It's time to ditch the ineffective study habits of the past. Let's explore some smarter study techniques that actually work. Hacking your way to success, introducing smarter study techniques. Effective studying is not about the quantity of time spent, but the quality of your efforts. Study smarter, not harder, is a mantra backed by science. By incorporating specific techniques, you can significantly improve your learning and retention. One such technique is the 20-minute chunk method. This approach recognizes our brain's natural attention span. Instead of marathon study sessions, you study in focused 20-minute intervals. Short breaks then allow for mental rest and consolidation of information. Another crucial aspect is creating a dedicated study area. This doesn't have to be a library. It can be a specific spot at home or in a quiet coffee shop. The key is to associate this space with focused learning. Over time, your brain will switch into study mode more easily when you're in this environment. Beyond these foundational strategies, we'll delve into active learning techniques, note-taking strategies, the power of summarizing and teaching, and more. By implementing these study hacks, you can transform your approach to learning and achieve better academic outcomes. The power of 20 chunking your study time for maximum impact. Our brains aren't wired for prolonged, intense focus. Trying to study for hours on end can be counterproductive. You might feel like you're putting in the time, but your brain isn't effectively absorbing the information. This is where the 20-minute chunk method comes in. This technique involves studying in focused 20-minute intervals, followed by a 5-minute break. During your break, get up and move around, stretch, or do a quick mental activity unrelated to your studies. This helps to refresh your mind and prevent burnout. This approach aligns with research on attention spans. Studies show that our focus starts to decline after about 20 to 30 minutes of sustained attention. By taking short breaks, you're essentially hitting the reset button on your brain's attention span, allowing you to return to your studies feeling more alert and receptive. Section 4, Location, creating your dedicated study sanctuary. Just as you associate your bed with sleep, you can train your brain to associate a specific place with focused studying. This is where the concept of a dedicated study area comes in. This doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be a desk in your bedroom, a quiet corner in a library, or even a specific table at your favorite coffee shop. The key is to choose a spot that is free from distractions and conducive to concentration. When you consistently study in the same location, your brain begins to associate that environment with learning. Over time, you'll find that it becomes easier to slip into study mode when you're in that space. Section 5. Beyond rote memorization, engaging in active learning for deeper understanding. Traditional studying often emphasizes rote memorization, repeating information over and over until it sticks. While this can be helpful for short-term recall, like memorizing a list of vocabulary words, it doesn't promote deep understanding or long-term retention. Active learning, on the other hand, is about engaging with the material in a meaningful way. This involves asking questions, making connections, and applying what you're learning to real-world situations. Some examples of active learning techniques include summarizing information in your own words, teaching concepts to someone else, creating flashcards with questions on one side and answers on the other, and testing yourself regularly on the material. Section 6. The art of note-taking, capturing and consolidating key information. Note-taking is a crucial skill for effective studying. However, it's not just about scribbling down everything you hear or read. Strategic note-taking involves actively processing information and capturing key points in a way that makes sense to you. One effective note-taking method is the Cornell note system. This method involves dividing your notes into 3 sections: a main notes section, a cue column, and a summary section. The system encourages you to actively engage with the material and create concise summaries of key concepts. Another important aspect of note-taking is reviewing and revising your notes regularly. This helps to reinforce your learning and identify any areas where you need further clarification. Section 7. Unlock your inner teacher. Summarizing and explaining for enhanced learning. Have you ever noticed how teaching something to someone else solidifies your own understanding? That's because explaining a concept requires you to organize your thoughts, retrieve information from memory, and articulate it clearly. This process strengthens the neural connections in your brain, making the information more likely to stick. So, how can you incorporate this into your study routine? After learning a new concept, try summarizing it in your own words as if you were explaining it to someone else. You can even try actually teaching it to a friend, family member, or study group. Another effective technique is to record yourself explaining the concept aloud. This allows you to identify any gaps in your understanding and refine your explanation.